Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today for another episode of the Valencia Society Podcast. I am Justin Valencia alongside with Delaware Mike, and today we have a very special guest, Deathmatch Wrestling's own Shannon Hunter. Shannon, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here with us today. It's beautiful outside, and how's it over there?
It's actually really beautiful. So I live in New York City. I live in Manhattan, and it's been a gorgeous day today too. So really appreciative for that. And it's going to be a great deathmatch summer and fall.
Oh, absolutely! A lot of good stuff coming around.
I know.
You guys just announced Tournament of Death. We can't wait. That's about 15 minutes from us.
Oh yeah,
believe it or not.
You couldn't be in a better place.
Yeah.
If my car wouldn't run, I could get on my bike and make it there in about an hour.
Really?
Well, maybe
30 minutes.
It's like 10
minutes.
miles.
Yeah.
I could drive 10 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be a great summer. Can't wait for Tournament of Death, Tournament of Survival, all the good stuff around the corner. The first question we always ask everyone: your first introduction into pro wrestling. Thing you remember about pro wrestling? What was it?
Pro wrestling in general, or
in general? Yes.
Oh, okay. So, my family has a long history in wrestling and combat sports. My aunt wrestled bears and carnies, and my brother was a triple black belt in martial arts. But my brother and my mom both liked wrestling, and I think everybody's experience is kind of universal. You're a little kid and you're flipping through channels and wrestling is on, and I think either everybody stops, right? And either you stop and you watch it and you're hooked for life, or you just keep flipping and it's not for you. So I think that my experience was that I always liked wrestling since I've been like 5 years old. And I really grew up a lot on World Class because that was on ESPN when I was young. And so that was one of my earliest wrestling memories, was of watching World Class on ESPN when I was a little kid and things like that. And my parents would buy me all the pay-per-views and things like that. So I had been a wrestling fan since I was 5 years old. So those are sort of my earliest memories.
I know you're in New York City because I can hear the sirens.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm right on the street, so
it doesn't even faze you, does it?
No.
We may be hearing that a lot. Yeah, that's like DC's like that.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
Where we live, you may never hear a siren. Like I haven't heard a siren in 3 days or more, or maybe a week ago. You probably can't go 3 hours, right?
So there's a hospital here and this way, and a police station this way. So you will hear them throughout the interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I would have earplugs if I lived.
I know. Picture the sleep. I couldn't get no sleep.
But she's used to it.
Yeah.
She probably sleeps right through it.
Yeah. It doesn't phase me.
It's like the people that work at McDonald's and the fries are ready. It goes deep, 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 and you're like, and they're like, and I'm like, it's driving me crazy, and it's for 20 seconds. Like, deep. Can somebody turn that off? They're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't even.
But they don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, they don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, I can't. Yep, that's going.
Okay, that's good. All
right. Going back to your first memories in wrestling, who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Hollywood John Tatum.
Oh,
Missy Hyatt and Tatum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my favorite wrestler growing up was Hollywood John Tatum. I also loved Larry Zbyszko. I loved Barry Windham. I loved Ted DiBiase. So people like that.
Okay. Now, when did you first go to a show? Because did you grew up in New York City?
No, I grew up in Buffalo. So back then it was the Memorial Auditorium. I probably would have been maybe between 8 and 10 years old. My brother would have taken me to see WWF at the time. So I would have gone to a show then.
Wow. And then you were in awe of it. You're like, wow, you could, it was like overwhelming. That's what it was for me. Like, I couldn't believe I'm here. Like, this is crazy.
You know, my brother was 19 years. My late brother was 19 years my senior. So, he would take me to all of that stuff. So I think that was just something that we enjoyed doing together. So he took me to wrestling and to concerts, and so I really enjoyed going to wrestling with him throughout my life as a young kid. And then when I was in college, I went to ECW once, and then when I moved to New York City, I ended up meeting Jason and ended up backstage at a show. So.
Okay. Huh. Well, you must have been a well-behaved child for a 19-year-old to take the little sister to a show. You couldn't have been annoying.
No, I mean, like, so by the time he was in his 20s, by the time I was old enough to go to a show, he would have been in his 20s. Yeah. So, but yeah, we were incredibly close.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I can
Yeah.
tell. Well, your demeanor's always been like docile and not like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not annoying. You're not an annoying person. Like, there's some women that are crazy out there, wrestling and stuff, and men. But I'm just saying, I can imagine. Like, it would be hard for me to take a little kid. I would take them, but to a concert or something. But yeah, but they'd have to be very well behaved for me to be with a little kid. You got to be very well behaved.
But we spent a lot of time together growing up, and when I was growing up, and he always enjoyed taking me everywhere. He took me everywhere. He took me to concerts and to shopping and to wrestling and to movies and to
okay. He kind of took you under because it was different. It was almost like you were so young that like he was like he treated like his little daughter almost, or like a
yeah. Very
I got
much.
you.
So my parents were 45 and 57 when I was born. So were very much, he took me trick-or-treating and like all the stuff that like, maybe your dad would do. He did a lot of that stuff with me because my father, was so much older.
Oh, okay. My mom was 36 when she had me, and I had the oldest mom in the whole neighborhood. Like, watch your mom older, and then that makes me feel even differently. I'm like, wow, you're like, yeah, that's a big, but that's good. That's good. But now you said you met Jason. Now, I remember you. Well, I know her from way back. Assault Championship Wrestling, because I used to come up with a guy named Jeff. You know him well, Jeff Rocker.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I met Jason. I was broken into the business in 1999 by Frank Idabia, Fat Frank. And so at that time, Jason was working at Jersey All Pro often. And that's when I met Jason. And then Jason would also come to the Doghouse, which I also worked at, which was owned by Bobby Lombardi. Which was in Brooklyn, which is where Homicide and Low Key and the Hit Squad and all of the kids from Ring of Honor and everything emanated from. So Jason would come there too. And then when Jason started ACW, I had already had a very close relationship established with him. And he was sort of like a mentor and a sort of de facto wrestling parent to me. So I went and helped him with that project as well. And so of course, I have had a wonderful relationship with Jason over the years. And I truly, truly, truly believe, as many of us girls, myself, Mercedes Martinez, Velvet Sky, would tell you, that we would not be the women we are today without Jason.
Yeah, I was telling him about that. Yeah, a lot of people came out there, and some didn't make it super big. They were still good. It was good shows back then. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I remember because I knew Jeff as kids, like before, not kids, but before he even got into wrestling. And then I was going to ECW. We went up there, and then there was a show in Delaware, and I had known Jason from just talking because he's the same religion, and we talked about Europe, and we liked soccer, and just started bullshit. And then I ran into his girlfriend Sherry at the show in Delaware, and I'm like, "Hey, remember me?" She goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, I'm here." I said, "I'm here with a buddy who's wrestling," and she goes, "Who?" And I brought him over. I said, "Here." And then she liked him. He had, Jeff Rocker had the wrestling look, and then they started using him, and we'd go up there, and then that's how I met Shannon and everyone else. Yeah.
So then, when Rock was about to start DCW,
right,
in Delaware,
yes,
he called me and he said, "Hey, I'm about to start this wrestling company and I need some help." So Jeff and I helped Jeff start DCW. So then I worked for DCW for, God, over 10 years, maybe longer. So even past the point where Jeff was there, and then he had transferred over ownership to his students. So I was there for years and years and years and years. So, but yeah, so Jeff and I were very close friends as well.
Oh yeah. I was at this trade fair in Harrington, Delaware today. I didn't even know they had wrestling there, and they had a ring. And I ran into Mark Harrow. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and Craig Pendergrass. But yeah, Mark Harrow was there. He was trained by Jeff.
That sounds like it was. Where was it in Delaware?
One CW. One CW.
W. Okay.
Yep. And I ran into him, but he had trained. Jeff had started the school here in Smyrna, and the first day of training, he had Chris Wilde and people like that. And I went in there, and Mark Harrow was there that day, and then we were talking. Now he's training people, so we bullshitted a little, but yeah, long history back there with this dog pound and assault wrestling and Jason all trickles down.
Yep.
The old
everybody's very interconnected.
Yes, I remember. Were you there when Hellaware Assassin had that match against his Hellaware Assassin went under Delaware Destroyer, and he wrestled that guy Bull Dread in Connecticut.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He was bleeding all over. She was there.
Hellaware Assassin.
Balls was there. Everybody showed up there. Yeah, that was I like that organization. Assault. Dylan Cage.
Yep.
No, not
he would have made it bigger today if he would have been around. Probably.
Teller was so happy when we found that match online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he loved it.
Mm-hmm. So she was up there. Okay, yeah. So what then? You worked for Assault, yeah?
I have probably worked for around 30 or 40 different wrestling organizations because I've been in the business. This will be around the time of TOD. Will be my 26th year in wrestling.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I now specialize in death is because I started in death at Jersey All Pro, and so one of the misconceptions about me actually is people think that I worked for John at CZW. I never did work for John because John did not allow women. So one of the misconceptions about me is that I worked for John at CZW back in the day, and I never did because John did not allow women. The only woman that ever worked for John was a woman who managed Dahmer, who was Dahmer's manager, who was Dahmer's girlfriend at the time.
Natasha.
Yes. Natasha was the only woman. I did not ever work for John.
Okay.
I would be around every once in a great while because I was friends with the Backseats and Burke and people like that, and later Z-Bar and people like that. But I would be around every once in a great while.
Yeah.
I was at Champs every once in a while and things like that.
Okay.
The photographer at the very beginning of my career, but like I never did work for John. So like my interactions with John were very limited. Like I want to say I interacted with John less than you could count interactions with John my whole career on less than a hand, um, which surprises people. And back in the day, which people don't really know if you weren't there was this huge sort of division between JP people and CZW people, and like really the back seats in Burke were the only people that went back and forth. Everybody else sort of stayed in their corners. And so you really if you worked for the All Pro, you didn't go to CZW and vice versa. So like it wasn't like we saw like Craig, who bled black and yellow his whole career, come to JAP. Like that wasn't, or Lyle.
Oh, right.
That wasn't something that they would have done. So yeah, I never really worked for John, never interacted a lot with John. But had always, for whatever reason, really vibed with and been close friends with DJ. And I think that's how I ended up in the position and job that I'm in now, at CZW, because, DJ and I have been friends.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's 20 years, but it's getting at this point. We've been friends for almost 20 years at this point.
So your position, well, nobody knows what your position. We know you're all over the place, but what do you do? What and XPW and CZW are your main places, right?
Right, that's correct. So
what's your whole job?
At XPW, I work in primarily PR, but I also do a lot of sort of project management work, and I do some talent relations. I also do some what I call fan experience, which is just dealing with stuff on the ground on show days. People's little bits and bobs and gripes and issues and things like that.
Oh yeah, we see you running around. Yeah. At TOD, she's running around like a chicken.
For CZW, my role is way expanded. So for CZW, I am the head of talent relations for Death. So basically, if you wanted to work for CZW in the Deathmatch division, you would have to go through me. Okay. So that's how that works there. And so I'm liaising with the workers, with other promoters, with buildings sometimes, weapon masters, referees, the whole nine, making sure that these shows happen. So, and I also do PR for CZW.
Okay, yeah.
Station, but I specialize in Death.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna back up a little and say, what was your first memory, your favorite memory working your first show in professional wrestling?
Working my first show, Beth Frank set himself on fire. Jeff Shapiro, who was the co-owner of Jersey All Pro, had left the fire extinguisher downstairs because the building we were in Bayonne was an abandoned supermarket that had been turned into a bingo hall. And, so there was like this basement level, and then and Jeff had a fire extinguisher in the basement. So Frank set himself on fire, and it started to travel up his arm.
What?
And because he went to clothesline, I think it was Jay Lover or Louie.
Oh, Jay Lover, yeah.
and it started to travel up his arm like this, because he did the thing that you're not supposed to do, and he went like this, and so it started to travel up his arm like this, and and so Jeff had to go running downstairs to get the damn fire extinguisher to put him out. So that was my first show, actually.
Oh.
So that's one of my favorite memories, because it was so frank. It was so frank, and it was so Jeff, and it was so JP. But yeah, one of my favorite memories. You know, the whole atmosphere, you could never recreate it again. One of the things that I simultaneously love and hate about the old footage is that it's so muddy and distorted, because obviously the technology we had then, you know, we're using what was state of the art then, but now, you know,
Right.
but you know, like, I wish it looked a little better, so that you know, we could have more of a representation of what it felt like to be in the building, because it was just absolutely magical. And from like 98, 97, well, not even 97, I feel like 98 to 2005, those years will never be recreated in wrestling, you know.
Well, even CCW. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was at all those CCW
Absolutely.
shows, and it's a different atmosphere, and the camera and stuff. Yeah.
The camera doesn't quite pick it up, you know, and it's just one of those things where I wish that the film was clearer, I guess. But the atmosphere at Champs, the atmosphere at what was called the Hardcore Hall, even the atmosphere at the arena when Caesar ran there, I think just and just other indies at the, like, I just think that so much of that stuff is lost to time because the footage is just so shitty. But it was an incredible time to work in the indies. Like, I'm glad I got to do it, because I feel like it kind of sucks a little now. Like, I think it's so much nicer. It was so much nicer not to have to worry about the stream, because there's so much emphasis on that, and not enough emphasis on like whether your live crowd is having a good time.
Oh, absolutely. I'm with it. You know, that's one of the reasons I'm not big on, you know, streaming. I like the old, you know, you film the show, you put in the promos in there, and you release, you know, release a DVD. I grew up on that, you know, so I'm big on that. I'm like, I love that. I love backstage promotion, you know,
Right.
Waiting for the product to come out.
One of the benefits we have with TOD is that we are in a complete, like, vacuum, and Mike will tell you this too. Like, once you get to a point, you can't use your fucking phone.
No.
You
I think I can.
No, I can't.
I'm on Verizon.
Like, most people don't have service.
Oh, right, yeah, because it is out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere. So, like, we can't stream. People can't, like, people can GIF, but they can't get it out. So, like, for those couple hours, they have to be completely in the moment and just party with us, you know? And so it feels very old school, and it feels very special, because they just have to watch the damn show.
Yeah. Now I know what you're saying. If you go towards the street, you can get it. Like a certain part of the area, you can get a little bit of coverage.
Right.
Like,
nobody's really doing that, because it's
no. I know. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, they're doing. Yeah, that is. See, that reminds me. The closest experience I had is when I went to the Carnage Cup down in McKenzie, Tennessee. Same vibe in the middle of nowhere, really in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you're really in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like it. But I like that scene that out in the middle of nowhere. I'd rather see a deathmatch tournament outdoors in an area like that than a little building. It's hard to get around, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Same with POR, like
Right.
POR.
The POR scene, yeah. Right.
And also, you know how DJ is, Mike. He loves to blow the ring up all the time. So
oh yeah, I like yeah.
So, you can't blow stuff up in a building. So
right. No, you're right. And it's a party atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See but then we'll go back to where we're just jumping around like crazy people. Then you started managing, right? What got you into that? Like that's a big step from like, especially as a woman,
Here was my trajectory. I was a photographer at first, and I did that for a couple of years. Then a guy named Spencer in New Jersey and I were riding in a car to a show, did a ring announcer, and I said, well, I could do it. And so then I started ring announcing, and I ring announced for an extended period of time, and I really enjoyed that. And then I was ring announcing at Rock and Rebel's show, because Rebel had the school blackballed, and he had shows. And Chuck said to me, he's like, you're really so good at this, and you're so good on the mic. It's a shame to waste that talent. He said, here's what I'm going to do. He's like, I'm going to throw you out there and have you manage. And I'm just going to sit out there and I'm going to call audibles. So if you screw something up, I'm just going to call an audible and have you fix it. And real genius of blackball, because there wasn't, it was like H2O, but like a little smaller. So there wasn't 1,000 people in the audience and it wasn't streaming. So it's like, if I messed something up, Chuck could just go and give me a signal and I could like adjust. And I was older and college educated and graduate school educated and like had to tell me once. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know.
This work with just anybody? No, but Chuck was like my uncle and he knew me really well. And like, he knew, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's how basically I was trained, where Chuck just threw me out there and like show after show, like I just managed people and he would call audibles. And so that if I messed something up, and that's how I figured it out. And then like he had me managing people like Eddie Valentine.
Oh, remember him, yeah.
Or Corey Castle or Matt Bomboy, who, would also like correct, and so like I just figured it out really quick. And then I ended up managing like 30 people in my career because I managed for a long extended period of time in my career. So I own my own wrestling company because Pinky Pinkerton in Pennsylvania, in Reading, Pennsylvania, had this company called World Professional Wrestling, and he got into some financial trouble or whatever it was, and Eddie Valentine and I were the bookers at the time, and he said to me and Eddie, he's like, would you like to buy the company? And we looked at each other and we said, yes, absolutely. So we purchased the company.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And we owned it for a period of years until Eddie's spouse had some medical issues, and we had to
okay. Huh. I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
And then I had always sort of been doing administrative stuff in wrestling. Like, I think that was Jason's goal for me always, because when he had AC, he was sort of training me in that vein. And then so from like, I want to say 2015 or so on, and then definitely this back half of my career, that's, you know, what I've been focused on, you know, running shows, running locker rooms, things like that.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's sort of been the trajectory of my career. You know, starting as a photographer, which many people do, and many people make that their entire career, but that wasn't where I was headed.
Are you taking notes? Are you
I'm
taking
taking
notes?
notes.
Are you
I'm
taking
taking
notes?
notes,
This
yeah.
guy's a promoter too. You know that, right? XBW. Yeah. Pay attention to this lady.
Of course.
A performer, and then a promoter, and then, you know, now I'm, you know, working as a booker and a PR person, and, you know, my other professional skills are coming into play. So that's, you know, just sort of where my trajectory has gone. So it's been an interesting career in wrestling. Probably pretty unique. I don't know anybody with a career like it.
No.
I'm gonna pause for 1 second because I just need to plug this in.
Okay. Yeah, she talks good. She's a, you know. Not like milk and stuff. But, yeah, she's going along good. We can make it long. I like it. I didn't know much about that. I didn't know about that. You know. Oh.
She'll be back.
Oh.
I got to get up to Manhattan. I like to go to New York sometimes and roam around. I'm going to go. We're going to go. Me and our buddies, 2 guys. We're going to go to the AEW pay-per-view in June 30th.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get there early in the morning and roam around the city. There's a new park out there on the river that's over. It's like cost like $300 million. It's that weird park that's in the water.
It's in the water?
Yeah, it's a unique looking park that they built there. You don't know about it? It's in Manhattan. It's on the western side.
Oh, you mean the High Line?
No, not the High Line. Something else that comes out of the water. I've been on the High Line. I'm a big fan of the High Line. I walked the whole thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, you'll hear about it. It's like a architectural wonder. Yeah. I can't believe you haven't seen it. Yeah.
No.
So much is going on in New York.
Oh yeah. No,
people losing their minds.
It's crazy.
But it's very important. See, I know you went to Columbia, right?
That's correct.
That's Ivy League.
Yeah.
You know how hard that's to get into that? Like, no, I mean that even to be accepted, let alone graduate from an Ivy League, is almost impossible. That's up in Harlem, right?
Yeah, it's so it buttresses Harlem, yeah.
Right. I've been up there. It's unbelievable area up there. It's like doesn't belong in New York City, but it's something else. Yeah. It's a big school.
Yeah, the whole campus is basically it's like gated. And so if anything happens, they can close the gates and don't let anybody in or out.
Oh, okay. Right. No, but what I was saying was, you're a detailed oriented person, I could tell. And that's important in anything. So when those little details that you pay attention to are important to run a show, because one little thing goes wrong, you know how things go wrong, and you can avoid it. It's like anything. I'm a planner too. Like when I go to something, I'm looking at traffic, weather, schedules of trains, New Jersey Transit, what everything. I got it all written down. I don't just walk out the house. I'm not the type of guy that misses a plane. You know what I mean?
A lot of my work recently has dealt with wrestler travel and things like that. So that's been hard because, you know, I've had a lot of international guys coming in and out and things like that. A lot of guys from the UK. I've been working with Joel Bateman from Australia. So a lot of international travel has factored in. And so that's been challenging.
Oh, okay.
It always is.
Yeah.
Who's going to pick them up? You know, a lot of.
Who's going to pick them up? Where are they staying? You know, their flights, and then also because it's staff, making sure that they are healthy enough to get on their flights and make it home.
Right. Yeah. We brought Hondo in for his show, and I was like you, doing the logistics to get him in and out the best time, and he had to come into Philly, so we flew him into Baltimore, but we didn't want to send him out of Baltimore because it would have been easier to send him out of Philly, and I did all the logistics, got him out of Baltimore, put him on a train to Wilmington, picked him up, and then took him to the show, but he flew out of Philly, but that was the best way to do it, juggle, the logistics of it to get it to work.
And a lot of times too, they may be going someplace else after they come to you.
Yeah.
So, in that case, I think Pondo went home for a little while, but then he went to Japan. So.
No, he wrestled the next day. He had friends pick him up in Louisville, and then they drove to Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then he did the Japan thing. Yeah, he's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we might get to we gotta mention Necro. What's the latest on him? That we gotta do something.
So here's the situation with Dylan. So Dylan Dylan shattered his hip in Japan. So he is stuck in Japan for at least 3 months. He is in the hospital right now. I think the last that I heard which was this morning, is that he is switching. They're going to be switching hospitals to get him like the highest quality care. But the issue is this. So what's tough about it is that there's not a lot of people around him who speak English. So that's been challenging for him. And then also we just, want to make sure that everybody follows the links that we're putting out so that he gets the financial assistance that he needs to not only help him while he's there, but pay expenses here, like pay his rent and things like that. So just, follow myself and people from XPW and all of that. And the links that we're putting out, we're selling all kinds of different merchandise. I know JJ Allen is selling a whole bunch of stuff to benefit Necro. So just follow all these links and buy things, because all of the money is going to Necro.
Good.
Full stop. So, you can rest assured that everything will go directly to Dylan.
Oh yeah, no, I would trust all you guys. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that we got. The Japanese guy's making a new shirt. I saw that. Yeah. So people order that.
Say Ozawa.
Yes. Yeah, that guy's good. He's good.
Mm-hmm. So that's the latest on him, and then we will keep you guys updated as far as what all's going on with that, and then the next XPW show is in Newark in June. And I know that we will probably have stuff at the merch table for him as well then also.
Speaking of that, I saw, I heard that they're bringing in Kill Billy. That's the guy we just used Kill Billy last weekend at the WrestleMania weekend.
So Nathan,
that guy's good. He's going to go hard.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Nathan Mowry is making his debut at the next XPW show, and that's going to be really exciting because I know that it was something when I saw Nate over Mania weekend, it was something that I know that he wanted to do and he was excited to do. So I know that it's going to be very exciting to have him at XPW. There is going to be a couple of debuts at that show. I'm not going to spoil any of them. I haven't been given the authorization, but there's going to be a couple of debuts at that show. So definitely watch the XPW social media, because we will be getting, you'll be getting all of that information. And also listen to Rob's podcast, because a lot of times Rob will drop information that's exclusive on the podcast
Oh,
before anything else gets it. So
yes, his
So,
podcast
yeah.
is very addictive. It's like a soap opera. I heard the last 3 days. They're just
everyone's talking about it in the deathmatch community.
Yeah, you were on it a couple times, and then I haven't heard you in a while. Yeah,
well, because Rob will just like randomly call people.
yeah.
And all of a sudden your phone will ring and it's Rob, but he'll tell you you're on the air, and it's like the most random thing ever. But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's Rob.
Oh, I used to love when he got the body, and the body would pick up the phone. I'm like, oh wow, I couldn't wait. When he said we're gonna call the body, I'm like, yes. And then the body would say the most and I guess what those outrageous things are true. The body doesn't really lie. I mean, he gets into these crazy situations. I miss the body.
Yeah. Good
Oh,
time.
yeah,
Good
that's
times.
wild. But yeah, so the hardcore Killbilly. No. Hellbilly.
Killbilly.
No,
Killbilly Nathan Mowry.
Killbilly.
Killbilly.
Oh, Killbilly. Yeah, right.
Killbilly
Nathan
Mowry.
Mowry.
So there are two different people. There's Hardcore Hillbilly.
Yes.
That already works for us, and Killbilly Nathan Mowry, who is debuting for us.
Killbilly. I'm thinking of Hellbilly. Where am I getting Hellbilly?
Mike doesn't do his research.
No, I know. I know those guys. No, we interviewed Nathan, and he was really good interview, and he's not only is he a wrestler, that guy is a talented cinematographer. He's a jack of all trades. Like he does this other stuff. He goes to countries and does documentaries, and he's really good. I've seen some of his documentaries, and he's pretty amazing. He was at his show. I think his wife.
He's a brilliant guy, and we cannot wait to have Nate with us in New Jersey, and we know it's going to be really super special. But there are a couple of debuts that I know everybody is going to go crazy for, and then also September 21st is TOD, and our first participant is announced, Judge Joe Dredd. It is the year of Judge Joe Dredd.
Oh, yeah.
You heard it here first.
Okay. That gauntlet match, I'll tell you, that gauntlet match he did in XPW was one of the best performances. I don't know how he made it through that. I thought he was going to win, but he made it. That was crazy.
He beat Eric Ryan. He beat Mickey. He beat Necro. He beat so many people that nobody ever thought Joe Dredd would beat. And so it was a career-defining performance in like a couple of months to a year of so many career-defining performances for Joe Dredd. Joe Dredd's a really special generational performer, and I know that there are so many huge things coming for him.
And that's the 21st. Yeah, that's going to be something. I can't wait for that one. Yeah,
for sure. For sure, can't wait.
And
I saw there's someone else is having a tournament the 21st up in New York with JJ and the other guys.
North Korean assassin.
I would have liked to see that. Too bad they couldn't.
I know. I'm a little
man. Why don't they do a dual show? Bring them guys out or so. I don't know where.
21st where?
In upstate New York,
Amsterdam, New York, and it's JJ and it's
Hardcore is going to be on there.
A lot of wild match, like
But it's not in September though.
Yeah, it is September 21st. Yep. You didn't know it?
It's called Saul, right? You're
talking about Saul. Yeah,
it's Saul.
Oh, okay.
I could swear that it was that day.
It's going to be a no-ring tournament. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, it's a no-ring tournament.
Yeah, it's a no-ring tournament. It's going to be crazy.
Okay, but no, people are going to. It's way upstate New York. It's way upstate.
Gotcha.
It's going to be a big party.
Yeah, maybe they could bring them down here.
Yeah,
have it. If it's a no ring, they could just do it out there.
They could do. Yeah, they could do it in the field. Why not? Right?
God, that would go. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that.
Speaking of no rings, the show of the weekend for me was Evil Ways, and that happened in Philly on Saturday night, and it was absolutely spectacular. I know you guys have seen video of it. The lighted dance floor.
Oh yeah.
And the match that Mickey had with Lou and Joel that Lou called the orgy death match. It was absolutely spectacular. Also the match that JJ had with Redacted that everybody really loved. But I absolutely love Evil Ways. Look for me to partner up with that promotion in some way, shape, or form soon. I really, that was the show of the weekend for me personally. I thought it was a really, really special show. Everybody really loved it. I liked Evil Ways a lot. RPW was incredibly special. Chris Kohlenberg is an incredible promoter. I really love working with him. He is incredibly innovative and talented and great to work with. Great to his team, and I loved his show over Mania weekend. He sold out, and he is so deserving of every success that he's had. It was just an absolutely beautiful show. But yeah, so those were some really beautiful shows. I was incredibly proud of the CZW team. Like it came together very last minute that we were able to get Murphy Rec, and there were a lot of naysayers going, oh, you're never going to draw in that building. It's too late. Nobody's going to come. And it was very packed in that building. And when I got there and I started to put pictures out, it shut a lot of people up. And I was very happy because at the end of the day, if people have negativity around DJ or, what CZW is or isn't or whatever, it's not just about one person. There are like 30 people or 40 people that are busting their ass to make this thing great.
Oh yeah.
And I truly do believe that it's great, and it is one of the most diverse locker rooms in wrestling. Full of incredibly hardworking young talent that is, so many of them are ready to break out, and there are so many people on that roster that are going to be signed within the next 5 years. It's not even funny. And I was just so proud of that team because they really pulled off the hat trick of getting that show up and running, getting those tickets out, getting that building full, pulling off this gorgeous show when everybody's going, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. But I feel like the team at CZW always pulls it off. And I'm just so incredibly in awe of our team, in awe of all of our people, in awe of their resilience, their hard work, their intelligence, their talent. It's just such an incredible team, and I am so proud to work for them.
Speaking of that, I saw they're running 4 more shows, like 4 summer shows outdoor. Now, what's up with that? That's outdoors in the park.
So Love Park.
Yeah, I've been there. You been there?
I have not been there, but
oh, you like it.
So Love Park in Philadelphia is partnering with CZW, and we are running 4 shows outdoors this year in Love Park, and we are so proud to get to do that. It's really unprecedented, and they're going to be beautiful events that are absolutely free to the public. So we hope everybody will join us at these shows and take a look at what CZW is about, because again, we're so proud of everything that's happening at the organization right now. Even if it's not death related, doesn't mean that I'm not proud of what they're doing,
Right. Yeah, that's a good. There's a train station there too. There's a train station. I could go from Wilmington, take the train. It leaves you right there, and that right in front of it's downtown, right in the near the
right downtown. It's literally like right in the center of the city, and I think it's such a great location for people, if they don't drive, I think one of the struggles that I think, and this is one of the reasons why I love Heart Ballroom actually, is that, you know, if people don't drive, it can sometimes be challenging to get to wrestling. And so this is why I love places like Heart Ballroom and places like Love Park, because at the end of the day, even if you don't drive, you can still get to wrestling. It's accessible to you. And I think making wrestling more accessible is the key to getting people to actually come out and support it. And I think that's what makes shows like this at Love Park, at places like Heart, more beneficial for the wrestling community in general.
Yeah, you could take the New Jersey Transit right to
Love Park.
well, no, not Love Park, to Newark.
Yeah,
There's train near there, and you can get to it, or take an Uber. But you can get to the area. It's not like way out in the middle of nowhere that you can't get to. But yeah.
Right, and so many of the venues that people are running in, and this is not a criticism, because I look for buildings, you know, as a matter of course, so I understand it. And finding buildings to run wrestling in is hard, but so many of the buildings that everybody is running in right now are literally in the middle of nowhere. And if you do not drive, you are not going, because even to try to Uber would be prohibitively expensive.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, when we do find buildings where people can actually get to it easy, it's or locations that people can get to it easy, it's a huge excitement for all of us, because we know that we're making wrestling more accessible to a larger group of fans. And that's even true of Murphy Rec, because, you know, it's in a more neighborhoody place in Philly, so like people can actually like access it.
Yeah, you can get anywhere in Philly. You might have to walk a little bit, but you can get there. It's like Manhattan. There's nowhere in Manhattan you can't get to, but out in the middle of like H2O, it's kind of hard to get to.
Yeah. That's that building is a toughie. That building is 100% a toughie. Because I asked Chondo, how would you get there if you didn't have a car? And he couldn't even really. He's like, man, I've never even thought about it, you know? So it is, I think it's incumbent upon all of us, as much as we can when we are searching for buildings, to think about that, you know, moving forward. But I mean, it is harder for death, because, you know, to try to find a building to do death in is like finding a needle in a haystack, as you know, Justin.
Oh yeah.
He's good at it.
Oh yeah,
he's crafty. This guy's crafty. He's very crafty.
I was telling someone, I sent I was trying to get a show in Philly running, and I think I sent like 40. I was looking at the emails, counting them. I counted 47. I sent 47 emails, messages, and you know, some leads, some of them responded, but once they seen what I wanted to put on the show, what I was trying to do, they immediately stopped answering me, or they said, "Hey, we're all booked up," or you know,
or they tell you no.
Oh, what was that?
Or they just tell you no.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they look it up. So you can't play it off like, oh, we're just gonna run a wrestling show and then surprise them. Like CZW used to do that. And then they get kicked out. But now they look it up. They're like, well, what are you talking about here? Oh, wait, is this you? Oh no, we can't have that.
You know what? Surprisingly, none of them said no. They just stopped answering me. No, it's
that's why no rings are actually a little easier, because you can do it in a bar and things like that. And like a bar, you know, they're a lot of times more amenable to you doing what you want, because like, you know, already like it's kind of a dingy place anyway, or you know, they're people having fights, or they know they're going to have to do a lot of cleanup at the end of the night, as it is if it's not a high-end place. So they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Are people going to get drunk? You know, so like, you know, if you can meet like a minimum bar tab that they're looking for, they're probably kind of amenable to it. As long as you don't super trash the place, like if you don't get anywhere near the bar where the liquor is, like, you know, they're kind of okay. You know, the place where Evil Ways was cool because it was 2 levels, and we were on this top level, and that bar was closed, so like there was no danger of destroying anything, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like there was this like dance floor thing where maybe I think, you know, if the bar was open on a regular night, they might have had like, I don't know, karaoke or a band playing or whatever, or a DJ. But on this particular night, you know, it was wrestling, you know, so it just like it worked out for us. And then like you know, the one match they let JJ and them go back down into the back garden because, you know, they were gonna shoot off the little fireworks gimmicks or whatever that JJ
he likes
like,
that.
yeah, so like that. But you know, other than that, you know, but it is very challenging. And I think one of the big projects that I'm working on right now is bringing back Cage of Death, but I keep
please do.
One of the big things that I keep explaining to the fan base is if I can't bring back Cage of Death like they remember it, then I'm not going to bring it back. I'm not going to bring it back and have it be lame or not like they remember or less than they remember or in a very small building or whatever. Like, and Lauderdale and Janela made fun of me when I said this, but it's true. Those cages that Sean used to build look like fucking spaceships. So like, if we can't build a cage that looks like that, then people are going to be disappointed. And so like, if it doesn't live up to people's memory of what it used to be like, then I don't feel like we should do it, candidly. Because people are just going to not feel like it is what it should be. Because people have all these emotions and memories and things tied into these events because they've been going on for so many years. And if I can't produce something that's at least commensurate with the worst one that we've ever done,
right,
then I don't want to do it.
I was at the first Cage of Death in Mantua years ago. That was my first show. No, that was like my second show I'd ever been to. First Cage of Death.
Because old school fans have told me, oh, well, TOD doesn't feel like it used to. And my response to that is, okay, well, listen, we're blowing up the ring every year. And, you know, if they're looking for like super old school people, my response to them with that is we need to be building new stars because these older people are very rapidly aging out or have aged out. So if I don't build new stars, there's going to be nobody for you to watch. Right?
Yeah.
Because like people get very angry when we try to put people in the ring that they're not familiar with.
Oh yeah, I know.
They don't have an emotional connection to or whatever. So you have to let me build those stars. You have to let me. So I think that's why I'm super not keen on constantly populating these shows with very old or old school or nostalgic talent, because we have to build these younger talent, because if not, there's not going to be anybody for folks to watch or to draw us money in the future. Like if I don't put Joe Dredd out there, if I don't put or invite out there, if I don't put Atticus Cogar out there, if I don't put Otis Cogar out there, if I don't put, you know, Eric Dillinger out there isn't going to be a next generation of people,
Right.
because these older people were working before everybody knew, you know, things about keeping each other safe in their bodies and things like that. So they're struggling more than I think the younger generation. I think the younger generation will have way more longevity, because I think they're taking better care of themselves, and they're more knowledgeable about how to keep themselves safe and keep each other safe. And I just think that they're just able, I think they're going to be able to work for longer. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I just think that that some of them will have more longevity, because not everybody is necro, man. You know, like I think for a long time, for a lot of us, Dylan, I think defied logic.
Oh yeah, he's against. He needs to be studied. He's in its own. There'll never be another guy like Necro Butcher. His whole life, I've known him 20-something years, and I if you'd have told me like 2024 he's still doing stuff in Japan, and I'd have been like, well, I feel bad what happened to him, but yeah, unbelievable. There's nobody like that. He defies medical, physical. Yeah. I mean, he needs to be studied. Yeah, I mean, that guy.
Even Pondo.
Oh yeah, Pondo.
There are so few of those guys that have been able to have that longevity, you know. So we want this group of people to hopefully have way more longevity, and I think that they will, because they're really working hard to figure out what the formula is to be able to do that. And I think that they're taking the advice of the people that came before them, and, you know, looking at how do I get that longevity. And I think that they're going to do really well, but I have to be able to make those stars. You know, Mike G from Circle 6 has to be able to make those stars. Rob at XPW has to be able to make those stars. Like, we have to be able to, like, bring the new people in and get everybody hooked on them. Like, we can't constantly we have to integrate, you know, Eric Dillinger and Yanni Giannis and all these people in with, like, Necro and Pondo and Mickey and people like that, so that not only will they learn, but the audience will fall in love with them.
Yeah, I like Big Lou, Big Joe. Big Lou is good. Those guys. A lot of I've always liked the formula of 4 3-way matches in the first round. And that way, if somebody doesn't show up, you got an extra person. Yeah. Like 4 3-way matches, and then the winner goes to the second and then the finals. And then, like, he can do a little less in the first round. That way he's not having 3 hard matches. You know what I mean? Something like, I always like 3-way first rounds. Yeah. I don't know. It's like a formula. Yeah. It leaves it so you have extra people. So you have 4 extra people showing up. And if one guy doesn't show up, then you have a 2-way. And the 2 guys that go out, that do the most, the guy that wins maybe doesn't take the super crazy punishment. He's fresh in the second round. You know what I mean? Kind of. I see what you're saying.
So then you liked it when there was 12 people.
Yeah, because my formula is you get 4 extra people. If somebody doesn't show up, you make it a 2-way. And then the first round, the 2 guys go at it. The one that wins maybe takes it a little easier, and he's a little fresher for the second round. So, and nobody's noticing, like, he didn't do nothing. He still is in the mix, but he might not take the super crazy bump that would that maybe could make him not be able to go that much harder in the second round. That happened to Mondo and Zandig went off that roof in the second round, right?
Yep.
And then Mondo had to wrestle Ian Rotten in the final round. He was in rough shape. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So like if you have 3 ways in the first round, the 2 can be eliminated, and the winner can go on, and he might not have been. He might do a little less. Might give him a break. You know. Formula.
One of the things, because we've only had 8 people the past couple of years, so I have been advocating for at least 10. So I agree with you.
Oh yeah.
But I am loving putting together these shows. It's just been the ride of a lifetime. It's so fun. It's so fun to see people react as we put each name out, and to see people get excited, and you know, it's an honor for me to get to work on these quote unquote legacy shows, because again, people have so much of an emotional attachment, and it comes with a lot of responsibility, because again, people feel some type of way, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I am super honored to get to do it, and it's such a pleasure to get to do it. And I sometimes the workers, when they get on the farm, especially when it's their first TOD.
Oh yeah.
There is a sense of, especially if they grew up watching CZW.
Yeah, Brad Cash was excited. Yeah.
Brad Cash, but not only Brad Cash, Dillinger.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Dredd and his manager, just so many of these guys, they, you know, their feet hit the ground at the farm, and they're like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they will have grown up watching the show, and then all of a sudden they're on it.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just wild to them that they, you know, and for a lot of them, from what I am told by the talent, it's a goal to be on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me, it is an honor to be able to help people achieve a goal that they wanted to do in wrestling. You know, when I got into the business, like, I got into the business at a time when, you know, for women, like, there weren't, like, you know, there wasn't a lot like that you could expect to do. So I didn't really have like goals or like things that I thought like that I was going to do. I was just like, let's see what this is going to be. Like, if you had told me 25 years ago that I would be sitting here having this conversation, I would have thought you were nuts, because
I know,
you know, there weren't opportunities like this for women then, and like it like I didn't really have any goals or dreams, or you know, like, I was just like, well, let's see what happens. And so for me personally, like, I love that I get to help people achieve their dreams, and anything that I get to do is just, you know, a bonus. It's just so awesome, and it thrills me to no end, you know?
It's crazy because, like, I know you 20 years. If I would have told you way back in 2003, or when we were going to Jason's stuff, and I said, 20 years from now, you'll be booking and working for CZW, and we'll be doing an interview on a podcast. And the YouTube wasn't even invented at the time, right? And you'd have been like, what? Yeah, we'll be talking online, and we'll be talking about Delaware shows. You'd have been like, okay. You know what I mean? It's crazy when you think of things like that. Yeah. What, you know what I mean? When you go back and you're like, that wouldn't have happened. And then it happens. You're like, what's happening?
I have to honestly give so much credit to DJ, because he has given me so many opportunities that other women would be denied. And would not have had, and I would not have had without him. You know, I have the opportunity to do things that I never dreamed possible, that I really enjoy, that I get to work directly with the talent in a way that I think a lot of other women in wrestling don't generally. I get to use my talents and skills and my intelligence in a way that other women don't really get to do. He trusts me. We have an awesome friendship and an awesome working relationship. And, you know, I have to give credit to Deej because, you know, Deej believed in me. And I think that, you know, for a lot of people in the business, it's hard to say, you know, here's a very thinly defined role, go do it, you know, because a lot of people, you know, they want to micromanage you constantly, or they just don't want anybody to do anything at all, and they want to do everything by themselves. And that's always a recipe for disaster, because these companies are so large and unwieldy, especially a company the size and legacy of CZW.
Oh, yeah.
And for somebody like DJ to be able to say, I trust you, you can do this, go get it. And I think, you know, we have a great working relationship, and, you know, like, I just, the reason that it works is that, you know, we just have a lot of fun. And I just really appreciate getting to work with somebody who
Gives you a chance and lets you do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but also who just lets me be myself, and who I don't have to put on a performance, because we just know each other so well, you know.
Great. Yeah, that's good. Oh, you got something?
I was gonna say, you know, you talk about giving people opportunity and chances. I want to, you know, thank you for giving Joe. I see you put Joe Beasler on commentary at Tournament of Death. That's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to him. He's super excited, and can't wait to see him up there.
So here's a couple of fun stories about fans and TOD. So the first TOD I ever did, I had, we didn't have anybody on color. So there was a car full of people, and I was waiting for Mike Servino of Kings Road to come, and he finally drove up, and I literally dragged him out of this car by his collar, and I had him by the collar, and I said, have you ever done commentary before? He said, no. And I said, well, you're going to tonight. And he was like, oh my God, really? And walked him up to DJ, and DJ was like, do you want to do commentary? And he was like, yeah. And I literally threw Kings Road onto the commentary booth. He put on a headset, introduced himself to the guy who was doing play-by-play, and that was it.
Oh, wow.
And like literally like maybe 10 minutes later, he was doing commentary.
That's great.
That's great.
And so then last year, Uneffin' Believable came to the show, and he had been coming to XPW, and he had been gifting for me. And so on Effin' Believable, I grabbed him out of his vehicle and grabbed him by the collar and threw him into the pit as the show was starting. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you're gifting the entire show. Don't die. He's like, oh my God, thank you so much.
What is that? What is gifting? What does that mean?
You know, like the little video clips that you see online.
Yeah.
That's gifts.
Like little clips.
Oh, he's taking little clips. Oh, yeah. I was trying to do that for the Carnage Cup. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But so there are specialized accounts that do that for Deathmatch, and Uneffin' Believable is one of the best ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So but I threw him in the pit where he wasn't shooting from the audience. He was shooting at ringside.
Oh, you threw him right in it. Oh, okay. I understand. I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay. Yeah. So those fans like that interaction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now,
So
would there be a way to run a 2-day, like a Cage of Death the day before, and then, or the day, or something like 2 shows that weekend on the farm? Like they
so
do Carnage Cup.
I was talking to somebody on our staff yesterday, somebody higher level on our staff yesterday, about, because he asked me about, could we do COD outside? And the answer is, I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is I don't know the logistics of how heavy the cage is, and would the cage in the ring sink into the ground? Like, I don't know. So the answer is, I don't know. That would have to be something that I would discuss with somebody that is more technically adept at having set that up. But also, one of the challenges with a weekend like that, I think, is that it kind of blows our whole load all at the same time. Like, you almost want to separate those events, because one of DJ's huge things is telling stories, right? And so, like,
it'd be too much at once, Kate. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And so you've told this story,
Yeah.
right? And then this other story, where's the story in the cage? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
Doubleheader. All right. I'm throwing you my dream events. A doubleheader women's tournament during the day.
Now, see, that might be something that he would do. I think in the future, he really is looking to do more with women's wrestling and things like that. And the women that already work for us are very keen. So you never know what you will see in terms of that in the future.
Okay. We've interviewed a lot of women, Sarah Dox and different ones, and they want to do it. They're like, and I'm like, really? They're like, they want to be. I mean, you put out a thing, all women interested in being in TOD, the first women's TOD, you would be getting people, I don't know, all over. Probably someone from Australia would come. Or I'm telling you, I would just love to see that. That would be people would be talking about that. That would be a topic. And they don't have to go as crazy as the band, but I like it. And or Mickey wins that. No, Mickey would not be in that, because she likes to do the other thing. Yeah. She'd be offended if you put her in that.
Well, Mickey does wrestle women, but for the most part, the story that we're telling with Mickey is completely different.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But maybe a woman's, like I said, I think everybody would you go to both shows?
Absolutely.
It would be hard. It would be hard, but maybe they could do it. Or I don't know. It would be
I don't know that it would be hard. Here's the thing. Like, it would almost have to be 2 days, because here's why. Because we are fighting light. So that's why.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
That's why TOD is at 2. And we only have until like 6.
Okay.
Because then everything has to be struck and into the trucks by like 7:30, because it'll be too dark.
Okay. You could have, it'll be a long day, but you could have like the finals and maybe the semifinals on the second day, or something to like the second day is other matches, and you're not rushing both of them. You know what I mean? Maybe in the the four women's matches and the 4 men's matches, and then the semifinals and the finals the next day. The guys get a little rest, they get to clean up. You know what I mean? So you have 8 matches the first day, and then the second day you will have 6 matches, and then you can throw some other I'd throw some high flyer, a few other matches.
I feel like, isn't that what Ian used to do?
Yeah, and we liked it. I mean, and Carnage Cup kind of does that too. So I'm just saying, you could interact the women's tournament and the men's tournament, and the guys get a little break in between. I mean, they probably if I was a wrestler, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll go off today, and then I get 2 matches tomorrow instead of 3 matches in one day. It'd probably be, I don't know how they work. Some of them, 2 days. So 8 matches, 4 women's, 4 men. Then the next day, 2 women, 2 men, and then the final and final. So it would be 6 matches the second day, 8 the first day. Throw some ring.
It's different. Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, that would be an interactive thing. Yeah, and then in between on the second day, I'd throw some no ring matches in the crowd. People would love that.
One of the things that we did get criticized for when we brought TOD back was that DJ eliminated the non-tournament matches, which I actually like because, candidly, what I found is that we don't have time for them, because the show takes up, like the actual tournament takes up the whole time that we need. So, and also I do like to do an intermission because the people that we hire really value that time to sell merch. So,
well, then you just have to start at 12 and just make it an issue. Like, it's got to start early, no matter what. Like, if you can start something at 2, you can start it at 12. It'll be harder, but then you can have 2-day tournament, and then the guys are rested. They only have 1 match the first day, and then they stick around. And I mean, you'll make the money off 2 days. I mean, if you're going to go to 1 day, you'd go to 2.
For sure.
Just an idea. I'm not telling you what to do, but do it, please. I mean, you'd probably double the attendance or maybe increase it. 8 women.
Different, yeah.
Oh, women would be going crazy to try to get in.
For sure.
Yeah. Justin, if you had to predict this year's TOD winner, who do you think it's going to be?
That's a tough one. I mean, of course, Judge Joe Dredd. Hopefully, and I'm gonna say this now because you guys did give him an opportunity, and unfortunately, the junkyard fell through. Hopefully, we do see Nico Gray in there. We were super excited for him. He was out there last tournament having fun, interacting with everyone. So we would love to see Nico in this year's tournament. I think that'd be different, right?
I wouldn't want to see Mickey mad if she doesn't win it this year.
Oh yeah, Mickey. I would love to see Mickey. I feel like she was almost there for 2 years in a row. So I mean,
she needs to pay her dues. Yeah. She hasn't paid her dues.
Mickey's the only woman to ever be in Tournament of Death. Right? Yeah, the only woman to ever be in Tournament of Death.
This will be her 4th appearance in Tournament of Death.
Wow. Right, she was in the one way back. We took her. She came down and we took her to the venue. Did you ever see the video?
Yeah.
We took her to the venue and showed her. She didn't know where she was at. You saw that, the interview we did with her?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I don't know where I'm at. And like, you were here. She goes, I don't know. We were giving her clues. And then we took her. Yeah. And then we took her to we took her to where Zandig and Mondo went off the roof too.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of that on tape. We videoed a lot of those things. You have to send that.
Yeah, I'll send it over.
Drake,
to you.
We took Drake there too. And yeah.
I'd love to see Drake back in CZW too. I feel like he's, he's hungry now. He's hungry. He's making that return. Be awesome to see him in Tournament of Death.
Yeah, he's big thing. Yeah, I mean, he loves to. We were with him a week ago. The guy loves deathmatch. I mean,
he loves it.
He
loves it. He loves it.
Doing these interviews, I've learned that these guys really want to do this stuff. I mean, they really want to. They love they'd say the adrenaline stuff. Yeah. I don't get it. I like watching it. But it's something in them. They're a different person. They're different. They're built different to do it. They want to do it. I mean, Maori is huge into that. We interviewed him, and he's You know, he loves that stuff. He never saw a Gus that played. He didn't want to. That guy loves Gus that play.
Another one of the CZW guys I'd like to see in there, and I know he doesn't really do death matches, but Joe Miller, I've seen him a lot in the Delaware scene over here. I know he hasn't done any death matches, but I know he's a big supporter of it. I see him at all the Tournament of Deaths, so it'd be cool to see him in there, going through a door or something.
You could even have a qualifier match for next year's Tournament of Death.
Like
throw it. I take. Remember, Nico wanted to be in it. He wanted to be in the junkyard match.
Right,
he was disappointed. It's like two guys that mix it up with just different ideas.
Completely different.
The fans give good, not just us, but when you throw out a feeler, they'll tell you what they want. They're not going to lie and tell you like to mess it up. They're going to be like, we want that and this and that.
Absolutely.
Well, so that's how I discovered Dillinger, actually. So I did not know who Dillinger was for a long time. And then fans kept talking about him on the groups and on social media. And so I figured I needed to investigate who this guy was. And Dillinger's fan base was just so rabid that I felt like I needed to check this guy out and take a look at him. And then I started to sort of investigate who he was. And I was like, well, I like this guy. And then I contacted him and I said, well, whenever I have any sort of open spots for you, then, I'll put you right into them. And so like, I just maintained a close relationship with him. Luckily he was able to get into XPW. So him and I met in person then. And then of course, something opened up that he was able to get into TOD, which was a really special moment for both of us. But fans really did, I think, for both Joe Dredd and for Dillinger, push them forward. And that's why I always say to fans, if there's somebody you really like, you have to tell me, because and use your words and show me receipts, put video out there, because I can't be everywhere. You have to show me, you have to tell me, because they're on the front line of everything that's going on. So if there's somebody that they fall in love with and they really like, then that's how I'm going to discover them. I discovered Yanni Giannis through, who's recovering from an injury right now, but you'll see him soon. Through the GIF accounts, he wrestled Dillinger at ICW Milwaukee, and people just gift it like crazy. And I was just like, hey, I really like this guy. And then the other wrestlers were like, we really like this guy. And so, it just sort of snowballed. And so, a lot of times it's just that word of mouth from either other workers or from the fans. Mallory is somebody that the other workers want to work. So
he loves it.
But the other workers genuinely like Nathan Mallory, and they all want to work him. So he's somebody that comes up a lot when you ask, who do you want to work? So, I think that too is why I always tell people to be nice to, their fellow worker, because when it comes to stuff like that, in terms of
friends,
not only just friends, but like just your colleagues and other people wanting to see you succeed. It's just huge, and he's somebody that I think is gonna really be successful in the future because of that. Redacted, same thing. He's such a great guy that people just really want to see him succeed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's why when you put 12 people out there, now there's 4 more people that people want to see. Do you know what I mean? With the 12-man tournament. And they're, like I said, if someone bails out, something happens, they're there. this now you got even more people. So I mean, I don't know, fan voting. I like it. I mean, I would go there if they had a 3-day tournament. I'd be there. I mean, I love it. We're so close. We're real close to it.
Yeah, we can literally walk.
Yeah, I mean, we're really, really close. And we live. If you know where the early TODs, the Breakaway Tavern, where Sexy Eddie was bleeding and Necro went off the roof with White Fever, and
Chris Cash and Bailey.
Chris Cash and Bailey. That's legitimately like a mile from here.
If that,
it's right there. In fact, it was dilapidated. We took Mickey there, and she was trying to look around, get into it, and we're like, no, don't go in there. And it was now they're rebuilding it to something. They're opening it up to something else. So that's. I told Eddie. Eddie was at that skateboard park.
Mm-hmm.
I got to take a picture of that and send it.
Yeah, send it to Eddie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's good that you take fan ideas. She does like that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to listen to fans. Even Rob Black. Rob Black listens to the fans too. I hear that he's one guy. Didn't he talk to you one time? What do you want to see? What do you like? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, the Lucha Expo. We were talking about old school CZW, XPW, and ideas for the upcoming XPW shows. It was cool, surreal.
Rob is so cool, and my experience with Rob has just been nothing but awesome. I love Rob and Katie, and I love working at XPW. They're just it's such a close-knit company. It feels very reminiscent of like my earliest days in wrestling. And I just love it for that. It just feels very familial and close and warm, and it, like I said, it's a throwback to like working for Jersey All Pro or working for the companies that I worked for when I first started in wrestling.
Now they're running a show in Rochester. Have they announced it? I want to go to that.
They will be running in Rochester. Mm-hmm.
They're not. They haven't announced the date.
Nope, not yet.
Because I haven't been to Niagara Falls since I was a little kid, so I would try to do that and try to knock it off. I don't want to go to Niagara Falls just to go there, but I would try to go and then go across. When would that be? In the summer?
Yep, sometime in the summer.
That would be like a regular show kind of.
Yeah, like a regular show kind of, because you can't obviously.
It'll be good. It would still be good. It's then you really don't need light tubes in every single match. Really, you don't really.
Yeah, because you really can't do Death in New York, so it would just be like more of a regular show. But remember, Rob has all the lucha contacts and everything too. So
the what?
The lucha contacts and everything.
Oh yeah. No, I mean I'm up for a good show anytime. I like all kinds of shows. I go to anything. Yeah, I like it. So that'll be announced soon.
Yep, very soon.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. Rochester. Maybe go up there. And you can go to the
I want to
store. The store. Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll go.
Yeah. Why not?
Are you going to be there? Are you going to that?
Oh yeah, I will go to Rochester. Absolutely.
Okay. Very good.
I gotta ask you.
I feel like Justin has a question on the tip of his tongue.
Oh no, I'm going with the flow.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, in your years of running shows, what's the biggest mishap you ever had? Like something that, like right before a show happened, you're like, how are we gonna get around this?
Before a show happened?
Yeah, like whether it be 24 hours before a show, whether it be 2 hours before a show, whether it be, the week of, you're like, how are we gonna get around this?
The junkyard was a mess.
I mean, the junkyard sucked. But that wasn't because that show didn't happen. I think the one that stands out in my mind is not a show that was mine, but a show that I was helping run. So I worked for a company called Capital Wrestling.
Okay.
And it was the day of the show. It was 7:00 in the morning, and I get a call from the promoter, and he's like, "Hey, we don't have a ring."
Oh no!
Oh God!
And I'm just like, "Hey, that's a problem." And so I had to call around and find them a ring at 7:00 in the morning, the day of the show. I found him one though.
Wow. That's a good list to have.
Yeah.
If I'm a promoter, I'm gonna have a list of everybody who I know owns a ring.
Oh, absolutely.
And be like, yeah, what can you do for me?
You ever see that show Ray Donovan? You guys ever hear that show Ray Donovan?
I've heard of it, but I
I
never
heard
seen
of it. Yeah.
So, like, the premise of the show is that he's like this guy who like cleans up like weird, crazy messes that people make, like if you killed somebody or whatever, you know.
Okay.
And like, I always joke that I'm like Ray Donovan, like, you know, I exist, but you never actually see what I do, you know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for sure.
Like the Illuminati and the running things. Yeah.
I'm like the wind. You feel me, but you don't know that I'm there. You know I exist.
How did that happen? How did he not have a ring the day of the show? Like
It
the ring
canceled.
canceled? Oh, they canceled. Okay, yeah. That's happened. I've been helping out at shows where that's happened too. Not the day of, but the week before, and it was stressful. You have to,
Yeah, but why would a guy cancel? He's going to make money off the show unless someone else paid him more.
Yeah, because what happened for the show we experienced. We it was supposed to be like a regular show, and then we posted a picture of an iron board with barbed wire, and the ring guy was like, "Oh nope, you guys ain't using it."
Oh,
that's what happened with that.
And sometimes people's kids get sick, the ring truck breaks down, anything could happen.
Right. You got it. Yeah, you almost want to set it up the day before if you can get the building.
Oh yeah,
I like that's why I don't run shows. I just go to shows. I'll help him out or pick up a guy here and there, but I don't want the stress of doing that. I did that one time. I helped out Luke Hadley up there, and it was a lot of work keeping guys, especially if you're not a known promoter. See, they're gonna respect you and Rob and ZJ, but if you're a fly by night guy, these guys are gonna be like start running the locker room, and you can't really bully them. You know, if you're like an amateur promoter, you know what I mean, and you're just starting a show. I couldn't tell Necro, hey, don't drink.
Don't drink. Yeah.
Get out of here, man. Like, hey, don't do that. Like, I wouldn't even tell him that. Like, I'm not doing it. Keep it in the ring. No, yeah. I was gonna say, what do you want? What else?
I was gonna say, what's the furthest you ever traveled for a show?
Furthest I ever, probably Tampa.
Tampa, really?
Mm-hmm.
Tampa, Florida. Which was that?
I did Mania Week the one year during.
Oh, okay, Tampa.
Speaking of Mania Week, how was your Mania Week? I'm sure.
Insane.
Yeah, and sure, not much sleep, right?
Not much sleep, not much food.
Oh no!
It was cold.
Oh yeah.
How was the convention? WrestleCon.
The convention was good. It was fun to see everybody, and we were in this line, and it was so cool because Asia Kong was across from us, and then Missy Hyatt was across from us.
Oh, nice.
And Dawn Marie was there, and I was joking on Facebook that it was the hot girl section.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, where did you stay? Who did you stay with? Who was your crew?
So I was in an Airbnb with Necro and Mickey and Jesse Daniels and
JJ Escobar and Jimmy Controversy. Yeah. I was in that Airbnb. I went up there, up those long steps. Mickey had my jacket, right? It was a Dark Lotus jacket, and we went to Ring of Honor, and she called me and I got your jacket. I'm like, oh shucks, I forgot because I left with Drake to take him to the Eat the Turnbuckle thing, right? Yeah. And then I went, or something happened. Yeah, the day. Yeah. Anyway, so I ended up meeting her at that Airbnb, but she had locked her car keys in. She left her key. She lost her keys. She didn't know where her keys were. So I came up there and I saw JJ out in the park and just what he showed up that day. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's I'm going to Airbnb. I'm like, oh, good. So Mickey, we went up there, up the long, crazy steps, and she couldn't find the keys. She came down looking for them. And yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was that long, crazy steps where I'm like, how do you even move furniture?
We were on the third floor, but it was a gorgeous place.
Yeah. It was a big apartment. Yeah. I wasn't there very long. I was just there helping Mickey look for the keys. Then we went out, and then I took off. That was Friday night. Yeah. That was after the skateboard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you were with that crew. Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
That's where I was.
All right. Yeah.
Jesse Daniels and Hardcore Hillbilly.
Yeah, Hillbilly was in there too. Hillbilly and that was great. Yeah.
So,
I need my own room. I gotta stay.
Well, I had my own bedroom, so like that was fine. But like, so I was in like the Deathmatch Airbnb, basically.
Keeping them in line, huh?
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah. Are you kind of boss them around?
Oh, absolutely.
and they ignore you, right?
No.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No playing around.
No.
Okay, all right. They would ignore us.
Yeah. If you could take one thing away from deathmatch wrestling, what would it be?
If I could take I know I have the thing in my mind, but I don't know how to verbalize it properly. Oh, okay. I figure I know infighting.
Oh, infighting with the promoters and
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Like the drama with yeah, I get what you like. I feel like there's too much out there for the fan. The fans know too much sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, listen. We are all not going to like each other, and we're not all going to agree. But I really wish that it wasn't out there so publicly.
Absolutely.
Because
I couldn't agree more.
For a while, people were having fun with it, right?
Yeah.
But now it's just an annoyance to people, and it's keeping them from wanting to go to the shows.
Absolutely.
And so that is problematic to me because it affects the talent in a negative way. So I would prefer for that not to be the case. Look, there are always gonna be people that are not gonna get along. There are people that I don't enjoy. I try to keep that a little bit private because, again, like people don't need to, necessarily be involved in my personal beef. Sometimes I'll say little things here and there because sometimes I'm a human being and it's hard to not.
Yeah.
Me, Justin, I'm really patient on these groups.
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Please,
and you're always positive. Like you know what I mean. You're always positive. You always put the best foot forward. You know what I mean. You're never like you could, but you don't. You're always like very professional, and I think most of us appreciate that. You're not going to be like oh, that was stupid, or you know what I mean. That's not how it went down. You're always cool about it.
Oh yeah. If there's some problem or something, she's like, we're looking into it. Please work with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not like Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's tolerance. See, I don't have that. I'm not built that way. She's like that. She can do it, but I would be. Yeah.
Everyone, like, I'll see something and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be just 2% bitchy for 5 seconds.
Oh yeah. She does like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you can give you a refund. Now shut up.
Absolutely. Keep it moving, right?
We're trying to help you. We'll get you your money back, your $20.
Or somebody said something tonight, and I was just like, "Good for you." Because sometimes something's so ridiculous where you just have to express your dislike of it.
Absolutely.
And I think it's okay to be human every once in a while. I'm not a robot, and the thing about it is I think too, and I think it's okay to express this on a podcast. Sometimes before I would say anything, I would always go, I've got a show to promote. I can't say that, or blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But you know what? I'm a person. And it's just like, at the end of the day, if I said some smart ass thing one time, on a fucking message board and that causes you to not come to TOD, that's ridiculous.
Oh, I would. No.
You know,
really, you could cuss me out and say anything. I'm still going to TOD. I'm
right. But for some weirdo, like, you know, for me to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. And I think a lot of it too is there's and I don't say this lightly because I'm not like one of these really hyper feminist people, but like, you know, there is a twinge of misogyny because I'm like one of like maybe 3 women who post on that goddamn group at any given time, you know, like, and for the most part, I'm the only one who, besides maybe Mickey, who posts with any frequency. So it's like, I know, and I get it because it's been a historically male space and I invaded their historically male space. And it's hard because, you know, it's like a golf course or, you know, anything that's like a historically male space where men go to get away from the yap of their wives or their moms or, you know, their female boss or whatever. So they don't necessarily want to hear from somebody like me, but it's like, I exist, I'm here, like I'm not necessarily going to go anywhere. But I try to be understanding of the fact that, you know, that I'm in a historically male space. And I try to be respectful of the fact that, you know.
Well, no, you have, even though it's historically male, if you can do the job, you got to, those historically male guys got to get over it. Like, you can do the job, you know, I mean, you can do the, like, I don't care if you're a woman. I'd rather have a woman doing it right than a guy that doesn't know what he's doing just because he's a guy. That's that's like nonsense. That's like the most ridiculous thing you could do. I kind of like having you around because you get a breath of fresh air. Like,
absolutely.
Shannon Hunter. Oh, she's in it. Yeah, we like it. No, I mean, really, like, you know, could be a guy just doing it, and then because she's a little different, and you can talk to her, and she does it. You know, so I like it. I was happy to see you involved in the mix, and you listen to and you listen to people. You're reasonable
with the fans.
Yeah, you're never like outrageous. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, no. And the people that are writing the crazy stuff, that's like 20 people in the whole world, basically.
That is, yeah.
They're guys that are on the internet doing trolls,
that. Just trolls.
And trolls, yeah.
Have nothing better to do.
Like, so if you eliminated 20 people, there would be nothing negative.
That's it.
Yeah. It would be like, you know what I mean?
And those people never come to shows. There's this one guy, because when JJ broke his back, he came off really grimy on the group. And one of the things that I will not accept is when somebody is seriously injured.
Oh yeah, no,
people talking shit.
Yeah,
you know, and this kid talks shit, and I've got this kid on my floor, like, and I don't know if he's gonna be okay or not. And then here's this guy talking grimy on the group. No. That we're not gonna tolerate. You know, like, I did tell that guy to go to hell in a handbasket because I was just like, listen, these people are putting their life on the line. And I got this guy on my floor. And I don't know what his deal is, how hurt he is, whether he's going to be able to get up and go to the hospital, whether I'm going to have to scrape him off the floor or what. You know, now is not the moment for you to talk grimy. You know what I'm saying?
No. Or people badmouth. No, it's not right. That's terrible. Not. They put their life on the line. I don't want to see them get hurt.
When people are hurt like that, and people start talking grimy, like they know better or they would have done it this or that, like that's when my mouth starts to run, because, you know, what folks have to understand is, for them, these guys are an abstract like person in their life, but these are our friends and family. Yeah. So, like, you know, these are people that I, in some cases, talk to every day. These are close people in my life that I may travel with or whatever. So we have emotional attachments to these people. So it's just like, you know, and I think that a lot of times there's this sense of they don't see us as human, or the workers as human, or the promoters as human. And I think that kind of has to stop.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, it's not right. They're not that smart of people saying that stuff.
No,
That's
absolutely not.
I was going to ask about what you
No, you're good.
Now, the POR, the Grand Prix, I've been going to that a couple years in a row. That's a big thing. You should maybe try to check that out. Like Leah wants to go to that too, she said.
So, JJ's been trying to get me to go to POR for the longest. I'm going to definitely go this spring or summer. I've got to get in a car with Tarzan and just finally fucking go. Like I said, the travel is always just a thing because I don't drive. So it's always just, getting in a car with somebody and going, but I'm definitely going to get in a car with Tarzan this spring or summer and go to.
Okay, he's up in New Jersey. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tarzan.
You'll love it down here.
Yeah.
It's a wild scene.
It's like the
Yeah, I've heard it's so fun, and he's been after me to go, so I gotta go.
You got to go.
Absolutely,
I've been to 3 of them. I think they're fun. They're really good. Necro won last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
He
go
won.
all out.
Yeah, they bring in pros and their POR guys, and they just tear it up. It's free, and you can do whatever you want there. Yeah, that'll be good. They have the big tournament at the end of the year, but you can go. But I don't know when they're going to start, but they start at the end of this.
May.
The last Sunday in May. It's the last Sunday in May.
Yeah, something May 26th, something like that.
That's it. Yep. That's
okay. You got to push that. May 26th.
Yeah, May 26th. POR's season begins.
I thought it was May 19th.
No, 20. Is it 19th? Now you got me thinking.
Oh, I don't know.
One of those dates, but like the last Sunday in May. But they're starting in May.
Okay. I was going to go to. You got something? What do you have?
No.
Food. We always discuss with different people the food because we've interviewed girls from California. I mean, Canada, Big Joe, Big Lou, the West Coast guys. Food. Now you're on the East Coast. When you're running around, what do you like? Like these guys, like they've never been to Waffle House. Some of them, they've never been to Big Joe likes Wawa. Lou likes Wawa. Certain guys like different things. What was Remington Roar? What do you like? Where do you eat in the middle of the night or stop? Where's your go-to?
When I travel?
Yeah, what do you like to eat?
Okay, so I'm obsessed with Sheets.
Oh, Sheets is a good one.
They're not around there.
I love Waffle House.
Waffle House is a good one.
We live right around the street.
Listen to me. Everybody makes fun of me because I love Waffle House so much, but we don't have them in New York City. So it's like a real treat for me to get to eat it. So if you cross the street and like walk a block, I can get to an IHOP, but so I can eat it whenever I want. But a Waffle House is like a real treat for me.
Oh yeah.
They're not. I don't think they're even in New Jersey.
No. Bears,
Pennsylvania.
Bears where it stops.
We got. Okay, so actually, when you ever come down here, there's probably one 15 minutes from DJ's house.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, but so
in Havre de Grace, when you go, if you ever, I don't know if you go to the Havre.
Yes, we pass it in Havre de Grace all the time.
Yeah, right there.
And then, even in terms of like a Sheetz or a Wawa, we don't have convenience stores really anymore in New York City. Even for like a 7-Eleven, they closed most of them.
Yeah.
So you have bodegas, we have one of those on every corner, but it's not.
No, national.
It's
when you're out here, where else do you go? Cracker Barrel?
So yes, Cracker Barrel. I love Outback Steakhouse. So Joe Dredd and I have a similar adoration of Chili's.
Oh, yep.
We're both obsessed with Chili's. So those are some of the places both Alex Mateo and I, the photographer, and I like Outback Steakhouse.
What do you order at Waffle House?
I am really basic, so it's 2 eggs, bacon, whole wheat toast, and just a waffle. That's it. Super basic. Oh, and always have to have the shredded home fries because they're the best.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What guys from other countries do they get a kick out of certain restaurants here that when they come here, they're like, oh, we don't like Big Joe. They don't even have those things over there. So he's fascinated with everything that's, what do you
So
get from the out of
Clint
staters?
Margera is obsessed with Wawa. Obsessed.
Oh yeah.
Clint Margera is obsessed with Wawa. He has like all sorts of Wawa ephemera, like t-shirts and like keychains, like everything like that. A lot of the guys love Buc-ee's, like if they are able to get like into Texas and stuff like that. Joel Bateman just loves like American food in general. Like he just thinks it's better.
Yeah.
Like he was just telling me today that he really misses like American food. Yeah, so like they just like to eat the food, and apparently the beer is better here too. So a lot of them feel like that too. I'm trying to think like the Mexican, a couple of the Mexican talents had some funny things that they were eating too, but I can't remember what it was.
They love the Wawa. Hey, Margera's from England, right? Is he from England?
He's from England. Yeah, I think he said Manchester.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, I met him. He was with his wife, right? Or
Yes,
girlfriend?
with his wife at the skate park show.
Right. He had a Wawa. Do you see his Wawa keychain he had on his thing? I gave that to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. They love Wawa. Well, actually, yeah. Big Lou, Big Lou, Big Joe. They all love the Wawa because they can go in there and just eat it real quick and take it out. And where we live, there's like 2 Wawas in this town of Smyrna. If you go to Dover, there's like 6 of them. In Delaware, if you're driving along and you pass a Wawa, don't make a U-turn. Just keep going. There'll be another one. They're just everywhere. They're like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now Dunkin' Donuts is like huge in New York. Like,
yeah, I know. I don't like eating in Manhattan because if I go to an event, I try to eat before I go there because it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to find, or it's like so much. It's expensive. And we get this sticker shock. We go like, whoa, wait, hold on, wait. What? Wait, that's only $1 in Delaware. What? Well, in New York City.
Oh, there's nothing
in here. Wait, I'm like, and they're like, how much is coffee? I'm in the Panera Coffee Club. You can get coffee all day. Panera Bread, the Sip Club. I'm like, what? And they're like, you're not in Delaware anymore, buddy. I'm like, I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so those are the things that I tend to eat. Like in the run up to Mania, I started drinking energy drinks again, and it was, but I only drink Alani, because some of the other ones are kind of gross. So I drink Alani, and then I put protein. I put protein drinks in my coffee too, because that way I don't have to have breakfast.
Oh,
okay.
I put protein shakes in my coffee because that way I don't have to have breakfast. So either Fruity Pebbles ones or chocolate ones, and it instead of milk, and that way you don't have to have breakfast, and you don't need creamer.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yeah, New York. Yeah, I try to
stay away from.
Well, I'm going to be going up there. Well, I know I love New York City, but it's always hard to eat. Like I went to there's a. Have you ever heard of Ben's Sandwich Shop? Ben's it's like a Jewish delicatessen, and they make big sandwiches, but they're like $20.
Oh no!
And I'm like, no! But I love it there. They give you potato salad and pickles and stuff. You know where it's at? It's like it's a couple blocks from like Madison Square Garden, I guess.
Yeah.
Ben, oh, okay. Yeah. How do you get around New York? You take the train. I bet you're a master.
Take the train.
Subway, right?
Yeah, you just take the train.
I'm familiar with it, and then you take the Long Island Railroad. You went to Warriors with Pondo, right?
Yeah.
Coney Island. He was telling me that he wanted to go there. Yeah. He's fascinated with those Warriors movies and things like that.
Well, it's both Pondo's and my favorite movie. So like I'm always like pointing out to him like where the different locations are, like, and if I'm somewhere, like I'll send him a picture or something. Yeah.
He's a big movie fan. Yeah, monster. How did he like going to Coney Island to train? He wanted to take the train. He told me that he was going to do that. Because he called me before he went with you. You went with him, right?
No, I actually didn't get a chance to go with him, but he ended up going, and his pictures are just adorable. They're so sweet.
I thought he went with you. He went by himself?
He went with somebody. I don't know who he went with.
Oh,
but,
I thought he went with you. Oh, okay. Warriors. Because he wanted to go there, and he didn't know where I lived compared to it. I'm like, well, that's kind of like, I think when he went to the XPW show, and then he took the train.
He went to XPW. When he went to the XPW show, I think it was like the next day or something like that, or the day after that, he went to Coney. And he wanted to take a picture in front of the Wonder Wheel because, as the movie starts, the Wonder Wheel is, so he got to do that. But there are other locations that he wants to see. So, I told him when he comes back, I'll take him.
Awesome.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. You could roam New York City all day.
Yeah. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's good.
Do you have any questions for us?
So what do you guys think is the future of Deathmatch?
Future of Deathmatch. Good question.
I'm fast. See, I grew up when it was just CZW and IWA. And we used to go, me and a bunch of buddies, we used to go to Ian's shows, King of the Deathmatch tournaments once a year. And that was it. It was CZW and and it was IWA, then CZW. And then Carnage Cup started up. So we were going to those three. It's like Hellaware worked a couple of them. So we would go to those shows. Then Pondo started Masters of Pain. Then after that, it just spiraled. And then Tremont, and then everybody started doing them. So where's it going? Is that what you asked?
What do you see the future?
Oh, I mean, and there's an amazing amount of people that like to do it.
Like to do it.
It was almost a shortage of wrestlers, like in the early 2000s. They were getting out of it. And we're like, man, the Wife Beater retired, Mondo retired, Zandy, and we're like, man, they're running out of guys. Where are we going to get them? I think it's going to end. And then recently, they're just popping up. Like stars are made overnight. Like, did you see what he did over there? Oh, now he's like Dr. Redacta. He's everywhere now. And he was like small, and then he's everywhere. And in England, guys coming over, and Australian women that do it, Canadians that come down. I mean, there's no end. I mean, there's almost too many. But it's okay. I'm happy with it. No, I think it's gonna keep going as long as people want to do it, and these guys want to do it, so they like doing it. They say they get adrenaline out of it. They're worked up, and I've interviewed even Drake. He's like, man, you don't know the feeling when you go in. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, I want to. You just stop feeling, and you just want to go all out warfare. And they're built different.
Absolutely.
Built different.
I see deathmatch wrestling going more toward like different directions. Like you were saying about the photo club WrestleMania weekend with the dance floor. I really like that, and that's what for my brand, X Brand Wrestling, we're trying to venture out, do events in different little areas like that. With that feel. It's a grungy, deathmatch feel. I like to think of it like Twisted Metal, the video game Twisted Metal. Had that different levels. I feel like we're going to see more of that in the deathmatch community. More interactive locations, and more of the no ring scene. I feel like that's we're going to see a lot more of them. As we were discussing earlier, it's harder to find a place that it's easier to find a place for a no ring setting.
Who are your favorite wrestlers, deathmatch wrestlers right now?
Of all time?
No, right now.
No.
Right now, God, it's like saying like picking Miss America when they're all like, oh God, oh man, I like everyone different. Like, everyone is good. Like Dr. Renacto. I like the Japanese guys like Jun Kasai, JJ Allen.
JJ, yeah, for sure.
Lowry, the hillbilly. He's good. Hoodfoot, Cougar Brothers, Trent. I mean, John Tremont, everybody. You know, picking that is like it would be so hard to pick. I mean, I almost can't pick it. I mean, but legends like Necro. I grew up, you know, with Necro and Pondo and Brain Damage, Mondo, Zandig, Ian, Corporal Robbins, all those guys. We've seen them all. Yeah, we've seen. See, it started in the very few people. It really started like in the mid '90s. So, like me, you're younger than me, but me and a couple of the guys that we know, we used to go to those shows. We were through the whole group of it. So we're like, that's why when I interview guys, I'm like, I've been to every TOD, and the guy goes, "Oh, really?" You know, like the English guy, you know, like, yeah, every TOD, all the Cage of Deaths and stuff, you know, Carnage Cups, you know. So who's your favorite? Or what are your favorite?
I'm gonna go. You know, I gotta go with Drake. I feel like every single.
Oh, Drake,
Drake.
Yeah.
I've never seen a bad Drake Younger match. I've never seen a. You know, you can put any one of his matches in there. He goes. You know, he gives it his all every single match.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I challenge anyone watching this. Show me a match, a Drake Younger match that's not, you know, entertaining.
Yeah, I forgot.
So I'm gonna have to go with Drake. A new up and coming guy, Christian Ross. Of course, I'm gonna go with my buddy Christian Ross. You know, you're familiar with Christian, right?
Yep, we had him and his partner booked for the Junkyard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man, we were so. Oh God, when I heard the No Junkyard, I was so. Oh man, I was so.
It really would have been probably the all-time great deathmatch show for real.
Absolutely. But yeah, Christian, I feel like he brings something different to the table. You know, you could put him in you know, he's wrestling at the arena every month. You know, you put him with you know, some WWE talent. He could have a great match. You put him with Dr. Redacted. You put him with Casanova Valentine. You know, he'll have a great match. Same as Drake. You know, you can't show me a Christian Ross match that isn't entertaining.
Oh yeah, no, Drake always goes. Yeah, they love doing it. JC Bailey was great. I don't know if you ever got to see JC Bailey. He was good.
Yeah, I saw JC Bailey do a Tournament of Death actually.
Okay, yeah, Bailey was great. Brain Damage was unbelievable. That guy, man on a mission.
How about you? What are your current favorites? You know.
So everybody teases me, but my favorite wrestler is Orin Veidt.
Oh wow, he's good. Yeah, absolutely.
And I love him for so many reasons. He is a great citizen of the locker room. He is so good to everybody that he works with. He's one of those people that he's good to everybody from the janitor to the promoter. And so that's one of the reasons why I feel like he always gets invited back everywhere he ever goes. He just treats everybody with the utmost respect. He is an incredible athlete. He can wrestle anybody, any style. He's incredibly hardworking, easy to work with. And I just really love the kid. And then, you know, my favorite, you know, sort of modern era, is Eric Ryan. I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Eric Ryan. Yeah, Eric Ryan. Brian Woods is good. Brian Woods from down there in Alabama. He went crazy on the Carnage Cup. And Little Sicko too. The really two guys that were in the finals.
Yeah. There really isn't anybody more talented, more genuinely just basically talented at deathmatch in the United States today than Eric Ryan.
Oh yeah, overall, yeah, knows how to do it the right way. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, more technically sound than Eric Ryan at both wrestling and deathmatch than Eric Ryan. You won't find anybody, or more dedicated to the craft than Eric Ryan. He's the king of the deathmatch for a reason. And I think that, and I remember when he first got to XPW, there was just a tremendous amount of excitement, and somebody said, well, what do you think? And I said, he's the one. He's a locker room leader. I said, he's the guy. And you know, I just know that he is the person to just sort of lead this locker room into the next phase of what we're doing. And he's just such a great person to have at the helm of your organization, because
Okay.
he, especially the deathmatch wrestler, everything about him says champion. And it's so exciting to see him with that belt. And you know, so he he's just such a special athlete, and he's just such a huge favorite of mine. And I think up and coming for me, Otis Koger. You know, Otis Koger is actually my favorite person I've ever booked in a TOD.
Okay.
You know, he always gives 110% performance. He is really brilliant at promoting himself. He is really brilliant at adapting to the person across the ring with him. And he is also just an incredibly generous person, whether it's with the person in the ring with him, or with the people around him in terms of the staff, or the promoters. He's just a great person to work with. So I know that Otis Koger is going to be a huge star.
All those deathmatch guys, they have a certain personality about them. You know, have you noticed that? Like, very docile. I mean, for what they do, and they're very docile and like friendly. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. Like, they're very appreciative of the fans, I think.
I think
You get that?
it goes to a lot of times people say that, and this is true of actors who play particularly challenging roles. You know, that the more challenging the role you play, you know, or if you're a heel on screen or whatever, you know, the nicer you are in real life. And I think that's true of the deathmatch guys. You know, I think that the rougher they appear,
Yeah.
stage, quote unquote, the kinder they are backstage. And I think that that's so true of our folks. Is
Yeah.
they're warm, kind people, and then, you know, when they get out there, you know, they get to do what they do, and then they come back, and then they're again warm, kind, decent people, you know.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. Did you ever meet Brain Damage?
Yes, he was a wonderful, very soft spoken,
I know.
uh introverted almost.
Yes. Yeah. Very, like, can we get, yeah, very quiet, and even Toby Klein is like that too. Very,
Yeah.
and they're two of those, when they ring the bell and they go in their deathmatch mode, they're just like you're like, I don't want to. The average person would be like, I don't want to have anything to do with no, I don't want to meet the guy. I don't want to, like, keep them away from me. But little do you know that they would be the nicest person to you. You know what I mean?
But many of them are like that, and I think it just sort of is. It's like that with people who play challenging roles on television and in movies, and you know, things like that. You know, I think the more that you do that challenging work, the kinder of a person you are in real life, you know.
Okay, yeah. You think that? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Something like, yeah, especially brain damage.
Oh yeah, Brain Damage. God, yeah, that he was so quiet and soft spoken.
Good guy. Anything else? You got anything? Any other questions for us?
No, I'm good.
What's your next show you're going to?
So the next show, okay, so this is what's coming up. So we've got POR coming up in May, and then in June is XPW, and then we are, I'm not quite sure what's happening after that. I haven't really, honestly, I'm still recovering from Mania, so I haven't really thought any farther than that. But then we are again planning for TOD on September 21st, but also please check out the CZW social media because we have Best of the Best coming up. And I know that that is an event that everybody looks forward to every year. And obviously we have the Love Park shows coming up.
Yeah, I want to try to get to one of those.
So
where's the Best of the Best going to be? It's not in Havre de Grace, is it? It's somewhere else, isn't it?
In Baltimore.
It's in Baltimore City, right?
Yes. So this year it is going to be in Baltimore in the new building, and we are really looking forward to having all the Maryland fans come out and
I'll go to that then. Yeah.
And Best of the Best this year.
And that's the 19th, right?
18th, May 18th.
After your
May 18th.
Okay, 18th.
May 18th.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
We will be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. That's good. All right.
Awesome.
And we just announced Miles Hawkins and Deshaun Pratt. Best of the Best in the past couple of days. So I know we're going to be making a whole bunch of other amazing announcements for Best of the Best. And so be looking for that. And obviously, like I said, we announced Joe Dredd for
Tournament of Death.
And we will be making other talent announcements for TOD very soon. And we will obviously make announcements about Love Park. We, in terms of XPW, we announced Kill Billy, Joe with us. Dirk is always running around at these shows. So look for talent announcements on all of the XPW channels, and obviously on Rob's podcast. Rob's podcast is Monday through Friday. Usually he starts at around 9 p.m. Eastern, between 9 and Eastern. So always check that out on Spreaker. And you'll see the links floating around. So check that out. But
and the Rochester show too.
And the Rochester show as well. As soon as we have news about that, we will make sure everybody gets that information. And also, please pray for Necro.
Oh God, yeah. Buy a shirt. People buy a shirt.
Buy a shirt and click all of our links that we're putting out, and make sure that you can help Necro take care of himself while he is recovering.
Awesome.
Yeah, God. 3 months. He's going to have to recover while he's there then before they release him.
Yes. So he can't fly back. He's mostly recovered. So yes.
We'll say a prayer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Before we get off, I want to give a shout out to Danny Flores. I don't know if you're familiar with Danny Flores. He's part of the XPW team West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
He has a big show coming up May 18th, gastrointestinal hemorrhage, is it? Yeah, check them out. He has a big show May 18th with bands and no ring stuff. Check them out. I want to give a shout out to Vinny, Wrestling Creations UK. All the graphics you see for us, he makes for us. Definitely give. Thank you, Vinny. Joe Callis from Outlaw Mud Show. Thank you for checking us out. You have anything else?
No. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Shannon.
I enjoyed time to talk to us.
Learned a lot.
Dropping some knowledge on us. Thank you so much.
And if you have any guys that you want us to interview, send them on over.
Absolutely.
Send them over and we'll do it. Then it doesn't have to be long. It can be quick, whatever, a promotion. We can do it.
Absolutely. Shannon, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been amazing.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
I'll see you soon. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Say bye to Gorby.
Bye.